That man is crazy. And the lights did go out in DC. This is why we had to choose this film this week. And I don't even think that we really hit the nail on the head when we were thinking about it, but we're here. We're back. Call it season 2, call it episode 13. We're here. It's FYC Film Review. I'm your host, Gagne, and this is my partner in crime.
Ronaldo, how's it going?
Yeah. I blinked on your name, man.
Okay.
I was still thinking about the lights out in DC and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Tell the listeners what we went with this week.
First of all, happy 2021, everybody, and to you too, my friend. And with everything going on in the world right now in current events, here at FYC, we're not political. We're not going to get all political on you guys, but there's stuff going on in the world, and it's crazy. It's really crazy, and it feels like the world is going to hell in a handbag. So for that reason, we chose the 2009 disaster movie 2012, directed by Roland Emmerich. If you don't know who Roland Emmerich is, he directed Independence Day. This guy has a fetish for destroying the earth.
Oh, I mean, I don't think there's a movie that he doesn't like to destroy stuff. Day After Tomorrow, Godzilla. I mean, he likes destruction. He is a German auteur, if you will, and he just loves to blow up America. So yeah. All right, thanks, Roland.
And you got Michael Bay, who loves his explosions, right? But Roland Emmerich is on a whole different level. This guy will destroy the world over and over and over and over. He's pretty good at it. He's pretty good at it. However, a lot of the movies fall short. So that's just me. But it's starring an actor that we have not done a movie from, and that is John Cusack, who is great. We love John Cusack here, especially in High Fidelity. He was great in High Fidelity. And then there's another actor who his name is Chiwetel Ejiofor.
I'm glad you went with it and didn't make me say it, because I say it a completely different way, and I don't know if it's right, but sure. Yeah, I love him too.
I went with. And there's a lot of different actors in this. So I think those are the two main actors. Everybody else are just side actors, but they're pretty famous. So I'm just going to mention those two, and then we'll talk about the rest of the cast in the movie. So
I like it.
This movie came out in 2009. It was about 2012, and it is 2 hours and 37 minutes. It is way too long for all of us here at FYC. Way too long.
So long. So with that being said, in that runtime, full disclosure, Ronaldo and I here talked about this, but I think we both fell asleep watching this because of the length of time and starting it at night. And I passed out for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in the middle of the movie, somewhere towards the end of the movie. I don't remember where it was, but it was, it's long. It's so long, and it feels long. It's like bloated beyond belief.
Yeah, it's a long movie, and I got to be honest. I like Chris said, I watched it in 2 sittings. I fell asleep multiple times, and I think that's just because I'm just getting old, and I can't do it. 2 hours and 30 minutes is just insanely long when you're just seeing things blow up and explode, run away, blow up and explode. It's like, okay, all right, I get it. I know what's gonna happen. I can take a nap. It's all good. So
and that's part of the problem with the film, is I feel like it suffers from like what happens after. So you, instead of like leading up to the event's just happening for the first hour and a half, and then you have a second, part of the movie almost where it's like, what happens after the world has kind of fallen apart? And that part just kind of boring, in my opinion. It's not as exciting. It's not as fun. And for me, that's the biggest problem with the movie. It's too much of Oliver Platt, who plays Anheuser. I just kept thinking of beer every time they called his name out. Like, is his name Anheuser? And it's a lot of him yelling at Chiwetel Ejiofor, and I just kind of get tired of it. I would have rather that Danny Glover stuck around.
Danny Glover, that's right. He's the president, and I liked him as a president. I thought he was badass. I thought that's how a president should be. If you're gonna go out with the country, the president goes out with the country. He doesn't hide in a bunker somewhere. Okay.
Murtaugh, man. Murtaugh went hardcore. It was he was saving people. He was staying. He was telling the truth. At least I guess after they were
After
finally
the
ready
fact,
to,
yeah.
after things were falling apart, which I kind of put there. I was like, that was one of my notes. It was like, how do they keep this under wraps for so long and not coordinate more with other people? And I guess that's, that's part
Yeah.
of the script really, is that they didn't want to tell anyone because they didn't have enough votes for everyone.
Arcs.
Oh, my bad. Arcs.
Arcs. Just kind of going back to what you said about how it takes so long, like an hour or so, and then everything starts happening. You're right. I mean, it takes about 50 minutes before anything happens, before the big stuff starts happening, before everything starts blowing up and you start seeing this destruction of different cities. But in those 45, 50 minutes, I thought the buildup was pretty good. I liked how they developed those characters, but then that's where it stopped. They stopped developing those characters and they just went for the whole explosions. And so that's why when a lot of these characters died, which we'll get into, you don't really feel for them. You're just like, oh, they were in there a long time and now they're dead. Okay, now they're going to kill this guy off. They're going to kill this person. It's like, well, you didn't really develop them. So I had a problem with that, a big problem with that.
I think I had problems with the movie from the get-go. So they have this like really prolonged opening scene where you're seeing a lot of different things happen, and the doctor goes out to India and he's meeting with his friend, and they're talking about the core heating up of the core of Earth, and then they bounce to like Danny Newton's character, who's the daughter of the president, and she's an art dealer, and she works for some organization that is like preserving art for whatever reason. You don't know this yet, but they go to the title credit scene right after they talk about like the Mona Lisa fake, and you're just kind of like,
yeah, what
does that matter?
They're trying to throw you off. You have all these questions and they're not really answering all these questions, right? So but yeah, so the beginning, it takes place from 2009 all the way up to 2012. Then you find out that they're pretty much selling tickets for this arc, and you want to get on it. Well, you got to pay a billion,
right?
Euros. So I don't know what that is in U.S. currency. Forgive me.
1.5 billion. I don't think it's. I mean, they made that so dramatic when they made it like in euros, as if it was like.
I was like,
maybe the exchange rate in 2009 was a little bit better. I don't know, but it was like they made it so dramatic, like, oh, that's in euros. Don't forget.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if you caught this in the very beginning when Adrian was going to India to see his friend, and his little boy is on the ground, and it's raining, and the ground it's like a little river flowing, and he's playing with his yacht. Mm-hmm. It was like that was kind of like a call to him, or a premonition of how his dad was going to die, because his dad was on the boat, right, on the ship. And so yeah, I caught that the second time viewing it, because I had to rewind it because I fell asleep as well. Yeah.
First thing that caught my attention was like a continuity thing, and like he talks about taking his kids to Yellowstone.
Yes.
How did he get to LA, from LA to Yellowstone so fast? Like they take off in the car and then all of a sudden they're in Yellowstone. They don't show any other scene in between, and it's at first I was like, wait, is this supposed to be the same day? It was very like rushed. I mean, it's like a 14-hour drive from LA to Yellowstone, and I'm like, oh, ta-da, we're in Yellowstone all of a sudden.
It's funny because I didn't think about it, and now that you're mentioning it, Yellowstone is in Wyoming. It's like in like two different states.
Yeah.
I've been to Yellowstone, and it took us like two days to get to Yellowstone, something like that. Great catch.
Movie magic. You blink, you cut away to some other scene, and all of a sudden it's the next day, I'm assuming, and they're just in Yellowstone.
Great point. I didn't catch it. So I was like, oh yeah, they're going camping. Great, Yellowstone.
It was just such a lazy way to like make him get involved with finding out what was going on. Like just he wanted to go to Yellowstone to show his kids where him and his ex-wife used to go hike, and that just happened to be the spot that they're doing geology tests, and he runs into the guy who just also happens to be reading his book. It was like, wait a second, so he only sold 400 copies and he just happens to run into a guy who has one copy, who he got from his dad, who a lot of plot convenience in this movie.
I mean, but Yeah, it's like you can't add more to this movie to fill in those gaps. It'll be like 3 hours, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
If your name isn't Titanic, I'm not gonna do a 3 hour movie. So
Ugh.
You're so stupid, Rose.
no, yeah, Titanic is good.
Why did you
We bring it Titanic
We can
a lot.
fight
We
about
might
this
have-
every episode if you want. I like Titanic.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there's better 3 hour
Okay,
movies.
let's move forward. We beat this every time. Where do you want to go next?
Well, I was going to keep in Yellowstone because I was going to say, God, talk about child endangerment. Like, it already seems like John Cusack's not a
He's
very
not there.
good dad. Like they talk about him, being so involved in his book that he couldn't even he wasn't paying attention to his family, and that's what happened. Why his wife ultimately left him. And then you go into he sneaks his kids over government, signs and say
fence.
oh,
Yeah.
you gotta go get your backpack. You're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just I was like, God, child endangerment much it's rough.
Yeah. but they go to Yellowstone and that's where they meet Charlie. I don't even know if he had a last name. Charlie, who was played by the fabulous Woody Harrelson.
Yes.
So I liked his character. I thought he was a really cool conspiracy theorist nut job, which everything he said came true. So I liked him. I liked his character. I thought it was really convenient, like you said, how John Cusack or Curtis Jackson, his name's Jackson, Jackson's campsite was right next to Charlie's trailer. Right? And that's how he went to his trailer.
No, said a lot of plot convenience. So it's just all these people need to be in the exact same area. Yellowstone, huge, goes through 2 states, no big deal.
Yeah.
We're gonna have everybody in this concentrated area for the convenience of what we need to do next.
Yeah.
I love Woody Harrelson. Actually, if this movie had more, if they buddied up, this movie would be even better. Less kids, less family, less pull-up talk, less shitty little son who calls his dad by his first name for a long time and ignores him. Then all of a sudden, the second half of the movie, just loves him because his dad's an amazing limo driver.
But he was the limo driver because he was a limo driver to that Russian what do you call them?
I don't know.
Billionaire, the Ogalar or oligarch, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yuri
and his 2 sons and his
Oh,
girlfriend who was cheating on him with Sasha the pilot.
fun
Oh my
fact.
gosh! Go ahead. Fun fact number 1. Go.
Fun fact number 1.
Go for it.
She is Bruce Wayne's girlfriend. She is in The Dark Knight. She was the ballerina in The Dark Knight who is sitting with Bruce at the dinner.
Okay. Really? All right. Fun fact.
I was like, why do I know her? Why do I know her? I didn't know she's really Russian. But
I don't think any of them are Russian.
Yeah,
But
probably not. Yuri's
Yeah.
sons are the worst. They remind me of the kids from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where I just whoosh, crush their heads and please go away.
They were bad. They were like Tweedledee, Tweedledum. Did you catch that Arnold Schwarzenegger wannabe governor? I thought that was kind of funny. I thought it was funny. I was like,
Okay, so I'll admit it's funny.
yeah.
Could you? I mean, God, we could do a better Arnold impersonation than that. The person that they got was almost I wonder if Roland doesn't like Arnold. It seemed like they were making fun of him a little bit, and so I don't know. I was like, God, worst impression of Arnold ever.
No problemo.
Yeah. I mean, was he governor in 2009?
My assumption is he was, but
I don't know.
I
I
didn't go back and look at his terms.
I can't remember. I don't even know what happened
The fact that
yesterday.
he was
So,
governor, period, is
well, I mean, okay.
the
Well,
Schwarzenegger libraries. We'll call
Yes.
back to Demolition Man.
yeah. Watch that episode. It's a good episode.
It's a lot of fun.
Gosh, I don't know, man. I don't even know where to keep going with this movie. So many where's to go. When Adrian says goodbye to his dad, Harry. Adrian says goodbye to his son, to his dad on the boat. I like that moment. I thought it was kind of touching. That was for me. That was kind of like the only heartfelt moment of the movie. That was it, because I just thought that's his son and they're together. But even towards the end, when Jackson and his son weren't together underwater and whatever they were, I didn't get any feelings out of that. This was like the moment. This was like the heart moment for me between these two. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, go back and look at all of this director's. He's not very he's just not very good with the human element. He's great at distraction. He's just not very good. Like even the Thandie Newton's character, Laura, she's talking to her dad, who's the president, and he tells her like, you wouldn't have actually got on the plane if I would have told you that I was staying, and like it's heartfelt, but you're still, again, like you said, there's no development to really feel the connection or feel even sadness for the one person who's going to die in this situation, and just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw out fun fact number 2. This is like a three points in one. Oh. This movie, there's so many biblical references. I don't know if you caught them, but starting with Genesis, the boat was named Genesis, the yacht that Adrian's dad, Genesis, right? Then you get the kid, the little boy, who you don't find out until the very end that his name is Noah. Did you catch that? His name is Noah. They don't say it till the very end. So we're watching this, and I'm like, man, you waited that long to say his name just so, to be clever? I was so mad when that happened because his sister goes, Noah, and we're like, his name is Noah, and you're just telling us that? The other one is you got all the animals, the ark, right? Yeah. The ark, and then all the animals and the giraffes and everything. It's like, listen, you can take material from the Bible if you want, but just do it right, man. Don't have like these little witty clevers towards the end. Oh, okay, yeah. It's like, just say his name is Noah. Just give us his name. You don't tell us his name at all until the very end, so you can surprise us that, like, oh, it's Noah. Get out of here.
What? Noah's on an ark.
Yeah, Noah's on an ark, bro.
And look, there's giraffes. It's so cool.
Get out of here.
Yeah. It's not a clever script. There's some great Woody Harrelson lines. There's a lot of fun, with John Cusack yelling and acting a fool. I like Gordon. I like the boyfriend, or the boyfriend, fiance. I don't know. What was he?
He's a boyfriend.
Okay, but he was just a boyfriend. So he died an untimely death.
Bingo.
I'm gonna say, like, that was unfair to Gordon. They did him wrong. They did him dirty in this movie. Yep. He goes, and she's like, "Oh my God! Like, what happened to Gordon? Like, didn't make it." And she's like, "Huh, okay. I love you though. I love you." Like, wait, what? Like, you didn't even care?
Yeah.
Poor Gordon. He flew. If not for Gordon, they wouldn't have made it out. They wouldn't have lived.
Preach on, brother, because I completely agree with you. You have Gordon with us from the beginning of the movie, okay? He flies the damn planes for you. He helps fly the second plane, right? And then towards the end, he gets sucked into the grinders of the ark, and he dies. Give me a heroic death for Gordon. Even Yuri, the Russian billionaire jerk, had a heroic death when he shot his chubby son up to the top of the ark or whatever, right? And he died pushing him. It was done wrong. I don't care. Gordon, that death was just ridiculous. He got sucked into the grinders. Give me a break, man.
The gears. It's like such a punk way to go out. Like, he deserved better. Gordon deserved better. Speaking of Yuri, I think we're at the point, man. I think it's time for the worst line. Yuri, for me, delivered the worst line. We're talking about planes, and we're talking about Yuri. I have to say that the line when the kids, or when everybody sees the big plane that they're going to take out of Vegas fly out, he's like, "It's Russian, eh?" And you're like, what does that even mean?
Wow, that's a big plane.
It's Russian.
Like, I get it. Things are bigger in Texas, but I've never once heard, like, oh, because it's Russian, it's a giant this. Like, it was so bad delivery. Like, it just was so like, it's Russian, eh? Like, I don't know. That was bad Russian accent. Sorry, everybody, but.
Hey, I'm not going to disagree with you because my wife thought that was the worst line.
Really?
Hey. However, I did not agree with that.
Okay, that's fine.
That line did not bug me as much as it bugged both of you guys. The worst line actually came from Gordon for me. And that was when he was in the supermarket with the girlfriend or his wife. And clearly he is a plastic surgeon. and he says he's trying to like he wants to make a baby with his wife with his girlfriend, and he goes, hey honey, women pay me thousands of dollars to touch their boobs, you get it for free.
Honey, women pay me thousands of dollars to handle their boobs. You get it for free.
I was like, oh gosh, man, what would have happened if he was a gynecologist? That's ridiculous. Get out of here, Gordon. I still think you shouldn't have died being sucked into the grinders, but get out of here with that line.
I almost wish he was a gynecologist now, because it would have made it even more cringeworthy. You're right. That line led to another line when she kind of like pushes him away and he says, I just feel like there's something pulling us apart right before the fault line cracks.
Yeah.
I put that down initially and I was like, this is too early in the movie to already have my worst line. And I removed it once I got to Yuri, because I don't like his character at all. And maybe it's because his shitty kids were shitty.
He was shitty. He was awful.
Yeah, but his kids were worse. At least he's a, that sleazy billionaire young, girlfriend. Like, it's just his kids were just annoying kids. They just bratty little rich kids, and you're like, how did they live? How did
Yeah, well, he paid $3 billion in euros for the three of them, except he didn't pay money for his girlfriend because she was sleeping around with Sasha the pilot.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of weird. Pilot. It's like you're just throwing all these different scenarios for us. It's like, come on, I don't.
I know how great is that when they do get to Vegas and they're all and say like, oh, that's Dr. So-and-so. He did my surgery. Oh, that's,
yeah.
I drive for that guy. And come on.
Everything's so convenient. Like you said, convenient. Yeah. This is the movie. It's so convenient for everybody. And this director, Roland, he has a thing for dogs getting close to death and then saving them. You saw the little dog, Caesar. Yeah. Right? He does the same thing in Independence Day. There's a scene in Independence Day where this dog is about to like die and he like jumps and he gets saved. And I remember everybody cheering in the theater. It's like, I don't need that. All right? I don't need dogs being saved. Don't kill them. Just don't show them. I don't need them.
Yeah. That scene in Independence Day that you mentioned is probably one of the worst like digital effects scenes. Like, because I remember seeing that dog jump to safety or whatever it was, and it's like, that looks really bad. Like it was bad, not necessary. Yeah. Neither was this little dog. Like again, people like big dogs, not little dogs.
I mean, I like dogs. Just I don't.
You like Dags or
Dags? Dags. Like That's Dags. A good movie. We should do that movie.
We should do that. So
I'll let people figure out what that movie is if you can think about it. There you go.
That'd be a very, very good one.
I don't know if I have any fun facts for this movie or any more.
No, I didn't really have any. I mean, other than a couple people, randomly popping up. That's the thing is like this movie drags so much in the middle. The effects are beautiful. There's action. It keeps you engaged, and then somewhere in the middle, like it just drags. You're just like, oh, where are we going? Like you understand that they're trying to get to these arcs, but
these arcs.
Call them boats or tanks or trains. I don't know. It looked like I don't know what that was.
Arcs. Yeah.
It's I have a hard time believing that they would be able to get those done in 3 years, but
that's right, 3 years. I mean, here's the thing: it took them 3 years to build these arcs, but all these billionaires paid so much money to get on them, right? So you're trying to start a new civilization, or you're trying to save all these people, but all these people who paid big bucks are just money rich, hungry people who probably don't know how to do much. So let's say you only save the rich people, you don't save the workers. How are you going to survive if all these people don't? I'm just assuming that they don't have the skills that all these people, these workers who are building these arcs are not even going to get on it.
Sure.
Come on.
Yeah. It's there's a lot to that. It's just, I love that the Americans had their own arc, but other countries had to share an arc, when they're like reporting to each other, like, whether people are ready to go, and they're like, or where they were voting to whether they were going to open the gates again and let all these people on that they initially shut out. It's like, Italy and Russia and are on board. And then, you realize like, wait, America got their own boat? Like, come on.
That's the thing. I feel like his movies could be a little bit better if the writing was better, if the characters were developed better, but they're not. It's just nothing but CGI. It's a CGI, and you're just throwing up all this CGI in your face, and you're supposed to be like, wow. It's like, okay, it kind of gets to you. It's like, just back it off a little bit. But,
Yeah, you'd think by now he would. I don't know. They'd have somebody do some script treatments or something. I don't know. He gets money from studios to make these
well,
films,
yeah.
and they spend a lot of money. It's like he made Independence Day, and that was, amazing for the time. And after that, it was just like they just let him, whatever you want, man. We'll keep doing it. And God, I mean, he made the same movie. Like he made Day After Tomorrow, and he made 2012. They're the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
One, the Earth gets cold, and the other, the Earth gets really hot. Like it's not much of a difference. But they let him make this. I don't know if I really remember Day After Tomorrow.
There's an audience for these films. There's an audience for these films, and I don't know. I'm not a fan. That's just me, my personal opinion. I'm just not a fan. It's too much. It is too much.
Yeah, I've skipped some of his films. I think this is probably one I would skip in the future because I haven't really watched this since the theater anyway. So I couldn't recommend somebody to watch this. I thought that I liked it. I love John Cusack and I love Woody Harrelson. I think they're good, and I thought that I remembered there being a little bit more substance. There's not.
Do you have anything else?
I don't.
That's it.
That's the thing. It's kind of anticlimactic at the end. Like the climax is literally them just getting on the boat, and once they're on the boat, the movie's over. There's like, okay, there's drama around because they didn't close it in time. They're heading towards what was it, Mount Everest? They're heading to the tip of Mount Everest, and they're going to crash, but they just make the reverse engines in time.
Yeah, because whose fault that was? That was John Cusack and his whole family and the people. That was their fault. They went through some kind of back door where all the animals were, and they dropped something into the gears, into the hydraulics. So they were the cause for all this, right? So yeah, they saved the day, but they created the problem.
Yeah. Had they just waited in line like everybody else, they would have made it on.
Yeah. So there you go. So the heroes are not the heroes because they caused the problem. So they fixed the problem. So does that make them the heroes? I don't know. Whatever.
I'd say they're more the villains. They're the reason that the boat was getting, the door couldn't close. They couldn't take off in time. They, crashed into a mountain and.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I think the real hero of this movie was his friend from India. I don't remember his name. He's the one. He's the astrophysicist, I think that's what he was, who found all this out, and they couldn't even pick him up.
That's messed up.
That is messed up. That is messed up.
I mean, all the true heroes, like Adrian lives. That's great. But Gordon, who saved everybody, who are our main characters, did him dirty. Yeah.
If I was the writer, I would have done this. I would have been like, hey, Gordon's going to die, but he's going to sacrifice himself because he cares about that family. He said he always wanted kids, right? And he should have sacrificed himself for the kids. That would have been such a cool ending, right? Or for him. But no, he just gets sucked up into the grinders.
Forgotten about.
Yeah.
Afterthought. Yeah. She just moves on. She's just like telling John, I love you, and we're a happy family. Like come on, man, that's so messed up. I got nothing else other than another worst line nominee.
You have another worst line nominee?
I mean, if we're at the end of the movie,
I think we're at the end, man. This I don't even know what to do with this movie.
So the little girl, the daughter, Lily, right? I think was her name. I think that's she's actually really good, like for a child actor in this movie. Yeah. Like I like her interaction with her dad, and I don't know, they had to give her. It's almost like they gave her the bedwetting thing just for this line. And they end this film. They end this film. John turns to his daughter. Are you scared? She says, no, not anymore. She says, I'm not. She said, no more pull-ups. And he says, nice.
No more pull-ups.
Nice. Fade out. That's it. That's how you end the movie.
That's it. That was almost going to be my worst line.
Are you kidding
almost,
me? Like, you spend 2.5 hours plus 7, and you end on nice.
No more pull-ups.
Nice.
So
It's good writing.
Whatever, Roland. Oh, I'm so mad.
Yeah. So this, we thought about doing pull-ups for our rating system, but didn't feel it was fair to the daughter and her bedwetting.
Yeah.
A lot of 7-year-olds, that's normal. But we could have gone with Narrow Escapes, because I feel like that's all this movie was for a while, was just like, oh, they just made it out. Oh, the plane just got off the runway. Oh, the car just happened to jump over this broken down, freeway. But we went with Fireballs because Gordon's our hero. And Gordon navigated planes through fireballs.
So Fireballs? How about Gordon's Fireballs? Oh, Gordon.
Gordon's balls of fire. How many
balls of fire?
We love you, Gordon.
Hey, we like you, Gordon. We like you, Gordon. We're rooting for you.
I'm a big fan of his. Yeah. I'll go first, man. Not many fireballs here, man. I'm gonna go with like a 2.
Wow. Okay.
Fireballs. This movie is long. It is rough to watch. It is maybe fun in theaters, but at home you're just kind of bored, like waiting for something else to happen. Like I said, I think it's 2 different movies. The first half is fun and exhilarating, and the second half is just kind of like, watch this family struggle to get to these ships. Yeah. And then they get to the ships and there's not much else.
Yeah. Okay. 2 fireballs. 2 Gordon, 2 balls. 2
Gordon's fireballs.
2 balls of fire. Okay. Shoot. You know what? I can't disagree with you. I am 100% with you on this one. 2 fireballs for me as well. It is a bad movie. I can't recommend it unless you like watching Earth get destroyed over and over and over again. I will say this. I did like the first 45 minutes of it before all the destruction happens, because they're developing the characters, and I thought, okay, it's cool, it's fine. And I actually was paying attention to it. But then it stops, and then you get nothing but massive destruction for pretty much almost 2 hours. It's just things being destroyed, no character development. When main characters die, you don't feel for them because their characters stop getting developed, and it's all about the CGI. It's all about the explosions. It's all about this and that and that. And if you're just if you love that kind of stuff and you don't care about character development, I say go for it. Turn your brain off and watch this. But for me, it didn't work. It really didn't work, and that's why I'm going with two fireballs for me. Sorry.
No, I feel like we're being generous. I mean, if it wasn't for the special effects, maybe some of the characters or some of the actors that they got, it wouldn't be. It's like 2 hours of just beating a dead horse of like everyone's dying, and the world is completely falling apart, and you don't even really love the characters that are in the movie. You're just kind of like, yeah, they're there. They're just they're just in this story. So thanks, Roland. Nice.
Oh, Roland. Oh, I don't get it. But you know what? You do your thing. If it works for you and it works for people, there's fans out there, then keep on doing it. It just didn't work for us. Again, this is our opinion. If you liked it, good for you. But it just didn't work for me or Chris. Sorry.
No, there's much, much more fun disaster films out there. It's like go back and watch Armageddon.
Sure.
It's always better than this.
All right. Cool.
That's all we got. We can, I guess, kind of tease. We talked about this previously on our Spaceballs episode because Michael Winslow, who does all the awesome voices, who happened to also be in Police Academy.
Yes.
We talked about maybe doing a Police Academy film, and we just found out recently that Officer Hooks, I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she just passed away.
She was the quiet cop, the really shy quiet cop, and then she gets on the bullhorn and she starts yelling. So she was great.
Yeah, so I think we're thinking we may have to do a Police Academy movie. I don't know if we're going to do the OG or maybe pick a random one since there were so many sequels. But I think Police Academy may be coming next, which maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's happening in our current events. Depending on what's happening in our current events, we'll tie a movie to it. But right now, Police Academy sounds pretty good. Why not?
Need to laugh. Maybe we do something new. We'll see. I mean, full disclosure, we pivoted like 3 times this week just trying to figure out what we were going to watch. That's what we do.
Cool. All right.
Thanks for joining, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in. Give us feedback. Let us know what you thought of 2012 if you saw it. If you just let's stay away from disaster movies in general, because just right now it's too real. But we had fun. We always do. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in to FYC Film Review. I've been Kanye.
Yeah, I'm Ronaldo. Sounds good. See you, everybody. Happy 2021. See ya.
Happy 2021.